It's Jason, I'm back. This is another response to another one of those posts in one of those Facebook forums for food delivery drivers. This one I think is specializes in Doordash, but here is my response. What if I told you that you are not as important as you think you are? Roll with me on this one. The original poster was talking about how the apps wouldn't survive without drivers. And we need to unionize and get together and put pressure on them because they can't operate without us. Well, to some extent, this is actually true. You know, the apps do need drivers to function. But here's the problem. This is a little Econ 101 for you all. The supply of drivers is exponentially infinite, relatively speaking, because the barrier of entry for drivers is extremely low. So, what I mean by this is anybody can be a delivery driver. Anybody with a driver's license on a car, that is, can be a driver. I'm not so sure you have to start with the insurance because there's insurance companies out there that specialize in gig delivery, which allow you to pay for your insurance by the mile. So you may not even need to initially have it up front. You'll need it in order to get started, but there are ways around this. Excuse me. You can be replaced quickly, and many drivers are. These platforms deactivate drivers by the hundreds every day for whatever reason that they feel like doing. You're not needed that badly. They can live without you. They can live without a few thousand of you because they deactivate tens of thousands of drivers every single day. You're not the boss of them. They can function without you personally or without anybody who's presently on the platform. You know what? If you unionize, I'm going to predict what's going to happen based on my experiences with Wells Fargo. I've not been part of a unionization drive at Wells Fargo, but I've seen how this works, so I believe I'm qualified enough to be able to explain it. Okay? Here's what will happen. The drivers unionize. They somehow legally find a way to do it. Right now, none exists. They do this, and all of a sudden, all these drivers start getting deactivated by the tens or hundreds of thousands are deactivated. And you know what happens next? These drivers are replaced within 48 hours. The apps are back to normal. They may have to spend a little bit in order to be able to recruit new drivers or reach them, but it's not going to take a lot for them to do. Speaking of recruitment, it was mentioned in this thread that, well, look at all the money they spend on recruiting drivers. Not really. Your recruitment possibly cost them $50 to $100 in bonus money to whoever made the referral. You know how much it costs a law firm in order to be able to recruit an attorney? Probably hundreds of times that. For the amount that it takes Doordash to recruit a few hundred drivers, it costs a law firm to recruit one lawyer. As far as a sign-on bonus or any type of spiff that they might offer a lawyer. And you know why this is? Because a lawyer requires 8 years of education to get this, and then also be able to pass the state bar exam. No easy feat. They give up 8 years of their life to train for this. A driver doesn't do squat. A driver gets a driver's license and maybe prepares for a driver's test, which compared to the bar exam is a walk in the park. And it costs you what to get a driver's license exam? What, maybe $100 if that? Depending on your state. How much does it cost somebody to go to law school and to pass the bar? 6 figures, easy, for 8 years, total. I'm thinking $250,000 maybe. I mean, sure, you can get a college loan for that particular education, but you're going to be paying up the nose for years after you get hired and pass the bar. This is what I mean by a low barrier of entry. Compare what a doctor goes through with what a Doordash driver goes through to get in. A doctor, of course, goes through 8 years of medical school and possibly 1 to 2 years of a residency, where they're paid almost nothing after paying almost the same amount that that lawyer did to go get their education. And the money to recruit that doctor isn't as much as it is for the lawyer, by the way, but it's still pretty considerable. Some of them will even pay off the education, or at least a good chunk of the education, for that doctor. Depends on the market and what the local needs happen to be. In rural markets, this is very common. So I'm thinking of the Dakotas, Nebraska, places like that where doctors are in short supply. The recruitment bonuses for these medical professionals is very high. To get one doctor is what it costs Doordash to get possibly 1,000 drivers. You're not that important. I mean, it's technically true that Doordash would not function without drivers, but the supply of drivers, Econ 101, is exponentially higher than it is for medical or legal professionals. It's exponentially higher than it is even for teachers. The lowest paid of possibly the professionally educated employees in America. And those guys are legitimately unionized because they're legitimate W-2 employees. Now, another part of this post that came up was, well, what if we form our own delivery company and then we get paid the amount that we believe we deserve? Well, I got something else to tell you. What if I told you that in addition to drivers being needed, these companies also need customers, they need restaurants, they need technology, they need developers. They need all these things. How many Doordash drivers know the first thing on how to acquire any of these things? I'll bet you none. They wouldn't know how to recruit a restaurant to save their lives. They wouldn't know how to recruit or market to actual customers or get app developers to develop an app to operate their co-op, if you will. A driver's not going to know how to do any of this. So I'm just going to say to the people who are saying that we're going to develop a new app, good freaking luck. You're going to bloody need it. Because I don't think any amount of luck is going to enable you to build this thing. Or provide the market, or get the restaurants, or get the food providers. You don't know how to do this. DoorDash and Uber do. They've been doing it for years. They have years ahead of any wide-eyed socialist delivery driver with a dream. They have the hard experience, they have the personnel, they have the staff. You do not. Good luck with that. So, we get paid what we do as a function of the low barrier of entry to get in to do this. We're not doctors, we're not lawyers. We don't deserve to be paid as such. And the companies can get away with this as a result of basic market economics. Nobody says it's fair, but that's what it is. It's the way economies are built. Don't like it? Get your law degree. Get your medical degree. Do your residency. Get the skills you need for that higher paying job. Don't sit there and try to pitch some dream that you're incapable of pulling off. You can't build an app. There's not enough money or capital behind any of you to pull it off. In order to be able to build a viable competitor to Doordash and Uber Eats, you're going to need Warren Buffett type of capital. You know, Warren Buffett, one of the 7 richest men in America, the Oracle of Omaha, the guy who's worth somewhere around $85 billion. That guy. The man who built his empire on businesses he knew, which none of us know this business at all. So again, you're not as important as you think you are. You're not going to be able to fulfill your socialist pipe dream, and because you don't have the tools or the knowledge to do it. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just saying this to be factual and to probably give some people a dose of reality that they really need. So there it is, your cold splash of reality for the day today. I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you believe that you need to be paid more, do something else. Do something where the demand and the skills are there, which has an actual reasonable barrier of entry. And even at that, everybody's replaceable. I worked in customer complaints at Wells Fargo for 5 years and was let go willy-nilly one day. Everybody is replaceable in this country, in this economy. You, the gig economy driver who came in with just a driver's license and a dream, and maybe a car, you're really replaceable. These apps deactivate people by the thousands every single day. And don't skip a beat. Now I'm done. You folks have a good night. Next time, as always, peace out, homies.